Hi, my name's John, and I'm a human doing. And what am I doing today? Something a little bit different. Normally, I show you how to make something. In this case, I'm going to be showing how I made something many, many years ago. Behind me, as you can see, is a bookcase, but it's also a hidden door to a two-piece bathroom we have on our main floor. And I did this 6 or 7 years ago. There are a lot of hidden doors on YouTube, so if you're interested in building one of those, there's tons of them out there. But one thing that's a little bit different about what I have here is the latching system. I'm using a standard door latching system, which is not common. I find most of the time on YouTube they have almost like fence and deck latching systems, and that's fine, it's great, but I wanted something that I could use as a regular door. This is a door that's used probably 20 times, 30 times a day, and it's been used that way for, like I said, 6 or 7 years. We haven't had any issues, so I think this particular solution I have works pretty well, and it's pretty straightforward to make if it's something you want to do. So here are the instructions. I'm actually just going to disassemble it, so I guess reverse engineer what I did many years ago, and hopefully that helps you with any projects you have going forward. So please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. If you have questions, as always, I will answer them as best I can. So again, thank you very much and enjoy. And here is the cabinet slash door in all its glory, full of books. And you would never really know that this is a door unless you'd already been to our house previously, or obviously if you're watching the YouTube. But the secret door, or the secret book, I should say, which is what we call it, to open the door. You can see I'm pulling it back now. It's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I thought that was a funny book to use for the what we call our secret book to open the door, the Chamber of Secrets. And when you do pull that book forward, the door itself springs open. And the reason for that is because there's no hardware on the outside, so I wanted the door to pop open on its own. And you can see that on the inside, it's just a standard doorknob, and it locks just like a regular door to give you privacy while you're in the bathroom. So no issues there. Once we pull these books back, I'll have access to getting to the hardware so I can show you exactly how this works. And you can see that there are a total of 5 books plus a sixth that I'm going to call as a book. It's not really, it's just a piece of cedar. And initially I thought, oh, I'm going to use pieces of wood because it has the lines. It looks kind of like a book, but when I did the first one, I thought, you know what, it doesn't, so I'll actually gut books. So we took the paperwork out of the books and filled it with MDF. So you can see that one there, that is cedar. These other 2 here, that's 3/4 inch MDF, and the 3 Harry Potter books are 1/2 inch MDF. So I'm just going to pull this first book back. This is sort of the cover for the entire sort of hardware system, or hiding the hardware system. And there's just 2 screws. And once these ones pop out, you'll be able to see the latching. I'll call it the latching book, or the secret book, as I mentioned we call it. There's just 2 screws, and on the back side you'll see that there's a bit of relief. And the reason for that relief there is because of the hardware that I use. You can see the screw, it's what the door pivots on. And I should also note the bottom of that book, the pivoting or the secret book, it is rounded at the very bottom to allow it to, you can see it closer there. You can see that just to allow it to turn or to pivot easily. So I'll pull that screw out. And you'll see on the inside, or on the opposite side of that book, that little piece of, it's just a piece of 2x4, is actually what the lever is for, or what pulls the lever up, I should say, sorry. So I'm pulling all these books back. These books here all have 3 screws in them, and each one screws into the next. And there's that piece of cedar. I left it in there. I thought, if you're not really staring at it, it looks like a book, I guess. So you can see here with the rubber band. The rubber band is just there to help spring back. So when you pull the book to open the cabinet open, the spring will pull the book back down so that it's not hanging out, and it would be obvious if it's a secret book if it's hanging out there. So this is just a piece of 1/4 inch stainless steel. It doesn't have to be stainless. And if you've ever done door hardware, the center, what connects the sort of the outward facing and inward facing doorknob, there's just sort of a square or rectangular piece of steel. So I just took a piece of 1/4 inch, as I mentioned, and I took it to a grinder to make it roughly that same shape. But then I put it on a 90-degree angle, and I run it through this piece of MDF that's just there to stabilize it. So you can see it working here. And on the other side. So really all I'm doing with your doorknob, when you twist it, it's pulling this up. And as you saw in the secret book, it acts like a lever, so it's just pulling it up.
And again, that elastic band that I'm putting back down right now, that's there to pull the book back in. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's mandatory, but I think it does make the final product a little better because you don't want the book hanging out. So even though you saw me take it apart, I will put it all back together just in case something was missed. But again, there's 3 screws in each book, and each one screws into the previous. You can also notice how much I've notched out of these books. I didn't have to take as much meat off of them, but I wanted as much clearance as I could for the hardware because I was making it up as I went. But you can see there's a fair amount of material missing from the books. And I just wanted to show a sort of a closer up of how that lever works. So you can see when the book is tilted back, it lifts up that 90-degree piece of steel that is connected to the doorknob, and that's what makes the latch open and close. Unlike the other books being fastened into this system, the secret book, again, I don't know if I have a better name for it, but the secret book, it only uses one piece of hardware, and that's at the pivot point. So once you get that installed, you just want to make sure that it pops back in place. And you'll see that big notch out at the bottom, and that's for a spacer. Because when the cover book comes in, I'm calling it the cover book, the very book on the end, you want to make sure that when you fasten that in to the other books, that it's not impeding on the opening and closing of the secret book, the book that unlatches the door. So that's all that the piece of MDF and the washer there, it's just there as a spacer to make sure that you're not crushing the book and that it opens and closes easily. So you can see here, give it a test before you go too far. Like I said, it springs back, which is nice. And I did want to show a little bit more closely the spring. So when you pull the book, it pops the door open. It actually swings it open a fair bit. It's not an aggressive spring, but it does pop the door open. And that's important because there's no hardware to open the door. So it's just a piece of 2x4 that I cut down, and I put 2 3/4-inch holes in it. The springs are about 4 inches long. They're compressed here. And the only thing holding it together is a 3-inch deck screw. So it's very, very simple, but I think it's an important part if you're doing a secret door, at least something like this, that, you know, it's an important key that you do.
So there you go. That's how I made my latching system, I guess the door handles and locking mechanism for my hidden door. And hopefully that's gives you some ideas on what you can do for yourselves if you are making a hidden door or anything similar for your own projects. So please like and subscribe, ask any questions you have below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Again, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.